As we previewed last night, Donald Trump met with UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer in Scotland today. Plenty of issues were on the table, including tariffs, with the US President issuing this warning for the world.
But we're going to be setting a tariff for essentially the rest of the world, and that's what they're going to pay if they want to do business in the United States. I would say it'll be somewhere in the 15 to 20% range.
So maybe 15 or 20 or?
No, I said, I sort of know, I just want to be nice. I would say in the range of 15 to 20%.
He knows, he says. I'm guessing 17.5%, we'll see. Now, as I put it to Kristin Tate, Australia's already been hit with a 10% tariff, and now while our PM, of course, can't get a meeting with the President, it looks like the tariff is already going up.
I mean, that's what they're saying right now. These things happen very quickly. This is a very fluid situation, obviously. And have the tariffs situation and rollout, has it all been flawless? Absolutely not. But I was assured by the talking heads in the media months ago that the U.S. economy was going to tank by July 4th because of Trump's tariffs. Guess what, Chris? That didn't happen. The stock market here is doing great. Americans are out shopping, living their lives. The U.S. economy, it's not tanking. And these tariffs, people need to keep in mind, this is part of a very broad strategy to reinstate some balance. We've been taken advantage of in the United States for far too long. For 75 years, we've defended countries around the world, Canada, all over Europe, Japan, Korea, and many of these countries have closed their markets off to us. So this is about reinstating balance. Again, the tariffs, I think, are not going to be, a long-term solution, nor will they be the primary solution, but it's just a part of it.
Yeah, I think Donald Trump's having a lot of success with them so far. There's no doubt about that. We'll see where it goes economically, but he's won trade concessions from so many major trading partners, the latest one being the EU, of course, and even Australia has rolled over on US beef imports, presumably to try and strike a better deal with the US. So there's no doubt that Donald Trump's strategy is working to some degree so far. Let's stay in Europe, though, and Donald Trump's warning to Russia when he set a deadline for a ceasefire of 50 days. A lot of people thought it sounded a little bit long. Well, he suddenly shortened that. Have a look.
I'm going to make a new deadline of about 10 or 12 days from today. No reason in waiting. There's no reason in waiting. It's 50 days. I want to be generous, but we just don't see any progress being made.
So less than a fortnight for a ceasefire in Russia, if we're to believe that, or else what, Kristin?
That's a great question. A ceasefire deadline, it's a hopeful sign, but history tells us these timelines, they often slip. Look, at the end of the day, if this is going to work, if there's going to be some kind of ceasefire, concessions are going to have to be made. Putin is a very stubborn leader. He's not going to want Trump to look like the big master negotiator with all the power. So he is going to want to look like, at least from an optics perspective, Putin will, that he is the one who has decided on a ceasefire. But it's a great step forward. I will say here in the United States, Chris, Americans are very fatigued by this ongoing conflict. I mean, we have 100,000 Americans dying every year from fentanyl. So we just want this to all be done, and hopefully Trump will be the guy to do it.
Yeah, let's hope so.
There are other problems we need to focus on as well.
Yeah, there are plenty of those. And one of those is your border issues, which he has focused on, but as you keep pointing out, isn't resolved yet. The UK and Europe in general have massive problems with illegal immigration. This is an issue that Australians understand all too well because we've had to reimpose border security a couple of times. So Donald Trump, I thought it was fascinating in Scotland today, giving advice to the UK and Europe in general about the importance of borders. Have a look.
Well, Europe is a much different place than it was just 5 years ago, 10 years ago. They've got to get their act together. If they don't, you're not going to have Europe anymore as you know it, and you can't do that. This is a magnificent part of the world, and you cannot ruin it. You cannot let people come in here illegally. And what happens is there'll be murderers, there'll be drug dealers, there'll be all sorts of things that other countries don't want. And they send them to you, and they send them to us, and you've got to stop them.
It's so true, Kristin. No one could dispute it. You don't have a country unless you have control over your borders, but you need the strength and the willingness to impose border security, and the Europeans don't seem to have that.
Yes, of course, what Trump is saying is common sense. I mean, look at what happened in our country in just 4 short years under Biden. There was a report that came out here this morning that ICE arrested 200 illegal alien child sex offenders in just the city of Houston, Texas, where I used to live, over the past 6 months. That is one U.S. city, 200 illegal alien child sex offenders. This is happening across the country, all because of 4 years of an open border. But look, here's the hope for Europe. All it takes is one strong leader with will and a plan and the strength to change the situation and get it done. Right now, under Trump, we have basically no illegal crossers at our southern border right now. So if Europe wants to get itself under control, it can. It just takes willpower.
Yeah, it sure does. They ought to listen to Donald Trump on that one. Now, mentioning sex offenders, the Epstein files still keep popping up, and here's the latest from the president on that.
I haven't been overly interested in it. You know, it's a hoax that's been built up way beyond proportion. I can say this: those files were run by the worst scum on earth. They were run by Comey. They were run by Garland. They were run by Biden. And by the way, I never went to the island, and Bill Clinton went there supposedly 28 times. I never had the privilege of going to his island. And I did turn it down, but a lot of people in Palm Beach were invited to his island.
Well, there you go, Kristin. There's no doubt these guys were mates back in the day. Then they had a falling out. It's a good thing for him he never went to that island.
Yes, I will say the Epstein case, in the way Trump is handling it, threatens to completely tear apart the MAGA movement and the Republican Party. In 2024, Trump built one of the most robust and just unexpected coalitions in U.S. politics. All these different people joined together to vote for him, in large part because he promised to fight for the forgotten man, restore justice, and challenge a corrupt elite. And, there are people in the party now, people that are very popular with Republican voters like Tucker Carlson, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Congressman Thomas Massey, who are out there saying we need more transparency on this Epstein case. The American people deserve the truth, and more voters are agreeing. And it's not that people are mad at Trump personally. They're just saying, hey, this is something you promised us on the campaign trail. We want the truth. And if the president dismisses those concerns or, calls his own voters stupid for wanting the truth, it seriously threatens to harm his coalition. So I hope to see more transparency.
Yeah, fascinating insight, Kristin. Transparency is what matters here. Good to talk to you. We'll catch you next week.
Thank you, Chris.